All right, so growing up, I always wondered what are dragons, what are demons, dwarves, all of these mystical beings were real, and now I know that they are. They're real to the point where I can experience them, and you can experience them too. And this video is going to be about how you can experience these different realities, these different dimensions. So let's begin. So yo, welcome back to the channel, Lucid Living, where we are consciously developing our spiritual evolution. So the topic for this video is the spirit world. The spirit world is with us at every second. Why? Because the physical world is only a representation of the spirit world. Within the physical lies the spiritual. Okay, it is a like the most one of the most highest principles. Okay, as within, so without. As above, so below. Okay, as in heaven, so shall it be on earth. Okay, if we can realize this, then we can start to dive into deeper dimensions, deeper experience, deeper realities, and just live a more mystical life, a more magical life. So let's begin. What is the spirit world? The spirit world basically is the world that inhabits all the spirits. We can say that we see it in the shows. We see it in a bunch of cartoons. We've heard of it. Ghosts. We've heard of demons. We've heard of these mystical experiences where you see things that usually aren't there. Okay, that's really it. And so, when do we usually experience the spirit world? Well, we experience it right now. We sometimes get glimpses of it. We might see some orbs when somebody passes away, or we might see some things in the night, sleep paralysis, for example. All of these things are experiences that are in relation to the spirit world. Okay, but one thing most that is the most important thing is that you must realize that the spirit world is not a very well known world to the common man. If you are watching this video, it is because you are interested in the unknown. You're interested in spirits. You're interested in something more because you think that there's more to this life than what you usually experience. Okay, and there is. I'm here to tell you that there is. There's so much more. I only know a little bit. I've only reached the surface, but I want you to experience it for yourself so that you can live your own life and make your own connections. Okay. So first off, how do we access it? Well, basically the brain. I want you to see the brain as a filter. The brain is a filter. Okay. It transmits light. It transmits information. It transmits information through your senses, through your five senses. Okay. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your skin. All these things. These are what dictates your specific reality. Okay. And it is important to realize that these five senses are important. Okay. But if we live a life so ingrained, so used to these five senses, that we never really get down to the deeper senses, the more subtler senses like intuition, or for example, like the third eye. Okay. So the thing here is meditation. Meditation is one of the first ways to access the spirit world. Why? Because, and I think this is the number one. This is the number one, and I want you to understand that this is the one that I would always recommend. Okay, you want to connect with something deeper. You want to connect to the subtler aspects of this life. Meditate. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. You have to meditate. You have to learn. You have to train your mind to block out the five senses. Okay, once you block out these five senses, you will be able to experience life in a different way. All right. This is why people hallucinate, and I will go into that in further down the video. But basically, meditation is one of the most. It is the hardest. It takes the longest, but it is also the most rewarding. Okay, it is the most rewarding because you can access it like that. You can access the spirit world like that within 10 minutes. You sit down and you get it. Okay. So that's the first way to access it. And basically, there are different kinds of meditations, and I will talk about this in a future video on the kinds of meditations and how you can actually, which ones like are more prone to allowing you to access these realms. Okay. Next up is dreams. People don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but dreams are actually the gateway to the spirit world. Really, when you go to sleep, your brain basically shuts off. And it doesn't mean, I don't mean like it shuts off like it's dead. Obviously, REM shows that there is a lot of activity going on while you're sleeping, while you're dreaming. But it just means that your five senses are blocked off. This is why this is why it's important to think about the five senses, about sensory experience, and learn to block it off. Once your five senses are blocked off, for example, through paralysis, which is a normal thing that we always undergo, we have to stay paralyzed in order to, so that we don't act out our dreams. But while the body is turned off, the mind isn't. And because the mind isn't turned off, it is actually somewhere else. Since you're sleeping, you're not aware of what's going on. You're not consciously aware of what's going on in where your body is located. You're more so going to be aware about what you're dreaming. Your consciousness does not disappear. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it has to be transferred somewhere else. It's not here, so it must be over there. I just want to pause the video really quick. If you guys are enjoying this video, please let me know. Just give me a like, subscribe if you guys haven't. Comment down below any experiences that you have can relate to, any experiences that you've had in terms of the spirit world. And that's basically it. And we'll get back to the video. Now, I want you to understand something very important. If you want to experience the spirit world, I would recommend a dream journal. If you want to use sleeping/dreaming as a way to access the spirit world, you have to use a dream journal. That's the only way you're going to start to remember your dreams. You're going to start to get used to the feel of a dream. You'll be able to be lucid. Basically, lucid dreaming is really the goal here for accessing the spirit world, because of the fact that you can get messages, you get downloads, you can interact with your own psyche, you can interact with, there's a lot of beliefs where you can interact with lost relatives, and also you can have shamanistic, like journeys. Okay, shamans actually, I would like to talk about shamans in the future, but basically you can actually act out your own shamanistic journey in your dreams. Okay, so that's the second way to access the spirit world. Okay, so you got meditation, you got sleep and dreaming. Next, I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of like sleep, it's kind of like dreaming, but not really. It's a more subtler experience, which is basically hypnogogia, hypnopompia, something like that. I will put the actual words right here because I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. But there's a new method that I just picked up, and it's basically when you're in between sleep and waking consciousness. Okay, you're still kind of aware of what's going on, but your body's kind of like sleeping. This is usually when you get those twitches in your leg when you're falling asleep. You get those knee jerk reactions. That's when you're basically in hypnogogia slash hypnopompia. This is called the liminal state. I repeat, it is called the liminal state. Okay, basically you are between, you're basically falling asleep or you're coming out of a dream. Okay, and these places are very important because this is actually where you can have, this is where sleep paralysis starts to kick in. And once sleep paralysis starts to kick in, you can experience the spirit world. You can actually hallucinate. Basically, hallucinating is you seeing other dimensions. So when you start hallucinating, you can actually start hearing voices. You can start hearing messages. Your subconscious starts talking to you. You have access to your subconscious because your subconscious is only accessible through meditation or dreams. Okay, but that is basically the third way to access the spirit world, through basically hypnopompia, hypnogogia, whatever. It's kind of like two and a half because it is kind of like sleep and dreaming. The fourth way to access it is through psychedelics, and I do have to say I do not. I'm not saying that you should take drugs. That is not the point of this video. But I will say that psychedelics are a pathway to the spirit world. But the problem with psychedelics is that for an untrained mind, an untrained adept, it can be very messy, and you usually won't know what's going on. Okay, so that's why I would recommend trying the first three. That way, you will recognize that it's actually hard. It actually takes time. It actually takes getting used to being in a world where you're not using your five senses, but you're using different senses. But anyways, if you were to take psychedelics, you actually are able to access these worlds. It's just a little harder. I will talk about this in the future also. A lot of my beginning encounters with the mystical spiritual world was through psychedelics. So I don't want to leave that out because it is a way to do it. There is an intelligent way to do it. And I would like to talk about that in a future video. But psychedelics is basically the fourth way to do it. And also one other thing that I want to say in terms of psychedelics, it has been shown that when you look at the brain on psychedelics, it is basically it is basically showing the same activity as your brain would show when you are in REM sleep, REM, rapid eye movement. Okay. So basically, it comes out that you're dreaming while awake. That's why people hallucinate, right? That's why people see things. That's why people experience these mystical things, because your brain is it has just switched to a different frequency, and now it's allowing light to come in from a different source, and now you're experiencing a different reality. Okay, so that's another reason why psychedelics are actually going to be another tool for accessing the spirit world. Okay, now the fifth one, it's not really something that you can induce. I wouldn't like. I'm not saying that this is a key that you should use, because that is actually something that just happened randomly, and I wouldn't recommend that anybody ever try to do it, because of the fact that it's not healthy, right? Psychosis, schizophrenia, these like hallucinations, epilepsy, these experiences where people hallucinate, where people have basically a break in their reality. It is usually a break from you. Basically, what happens is that they break this reality, and since the brain has been filtering, like the way it filters has been adjusted, now they're experiencing a different reality. Okay, so now the brain has basically tuned into a different frequency on, for example, for like on accident. Okay, this is usually what happens like during seizures, epilepsy, and a lot of cultures that like I was reading somewhere, like in an Asian culture, um, they actually, like, people who have epilepsy are actually treated very, like, they are actually like venerated. Basically, they're not so much like worship, but they're respected. They have a certain like place in the society as people of like wisdom. People who have epilepsy in this culture are usually seen as getting messages from the gods. Okay, and why? Because basically, epilepsy leads to that connection to the spirit world, and that's where they can get messages from deities and from certain beings. Okay, this is why I want to talk about hallucinations really quick. Basically, hallucinations are, if you were to actually think about it, and I want you to really think about it, like you are hallucinating your reality right now. Everything that you see, everything that you experience is actually dictated by the way you think. Okay, if you get down to it, your thoughts create your reality, and if that is the case, then you are hallucinating your reality in a way. It is a controlled hallucination, but it is a hallucination regardless. Okay, and so if we were to talk about this more further, then we can get down to the fundamental basis of reality, and that will be a talk for a different day. But basically, if you were to try these things out, I'm not saying believe. You know, you can't believe. If you believe and you want to see something, you want to force something, it's not gonna happen. Now that's one thing for sure. I spent a long time trying to force things. I try to like see a specific thing. It doesn't happen. Things happen when they have to happen, and you can advance that. You can be the catalyst for things to happen, but it takes a lot of inner work, and that is why I emphasize the first three most importantly, because those require a training, and it requires time, it requires discipline, it requires a mind that is very fluid. The mind becomes very fluid once you start practicing these things, and you get to not only access the spirit world, but you also get access into your own self. You can access your subconscious, and that's something that I want to talk about in another video also. You can do a lot of things in these worlds. You can experience realities that are outside this reality, and you can get information from there that will help you out, that you can take from there, bring here, and help others with that. Okay, that is really the goal with this. The goal here is for you to be able to access these worlds, and then be able to hopefully improve your life from there. Okay, there's a lot to learn from these worlds, and also they are unexplored. Okay, people think that the moon, Mars is the next big thing. I don't think it is. I think that the mind is accessing the subconscious, accessing these spirit worlds is going to be the next big thing. Okay, and you can be a part of it right in your room. You don't need any equipment. People do this in jail. People do this in monasteries. You don't have to do anything. You just have to have the willingness to do it, and the patience to undergo the discipline and all the trials and tribulations that come with it. But the results come in. The results will come in. But that is it. That is the 5 ways of accessing the spirit world. I will reiterate: meditation, sleep and dreaming, hypnogogia or liminal dreaming. 4th is psychedelics, and the 5th is basically hallucinations, basically psychosis, epilepsy, all of these like disruptions in the brain. Okay, that's basically it. That's all I got for you guys today. And safe travels. Hopefully you guys have fun, and comment down below any experiences that you have. I want to hear your experiences. Have you had any experiences from the spirit world? Any messages? Anything? Let's get it going. All right. That's all. That's all I got for you guys today. So peace out.